Guys, so in this tutorial I want to show you how to make back elastic and front rope trouser. So if this sounds like what you want to learn, kindly watch the very end and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. So I will take you through the whole processes of how this trouser was made. So let's get down to the main video proper. All right, so here we want to start our trouser sewing. So I'm using this black fabric to illustrate to us how to stitch a trouser that has back elastic and front rope. So if this sounds like what you want to learn, kindly stick around and watch the very end, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. So I've already gummed the pocket region where I notched. So you just gum it in this form and then fold it in an angular form just like this. Do the same thing on the other side. Then weave the whole trouser for easier sewing processes. And then after you have weaved the trouser, now the next you will do is to start fixing your pocket. Now this is called pocket facing, which was cut out from the main trouser while we were sewing, and I have also cut the lining. So the lining was cut from the fabric of the front panel, and I traced out the size. The length of the lining is 21 inches length. Now the width could be exact or could be a bit wider. By then you now pleat the excesses at the middle. Now this pleating helps the trouser to have a relaxing effect without having any fold or squeeze, because in some cases if your lining is not properly cut, it tends to shrink or compress the trouser panel. So having done all of this, now let's now start fixing the trouser. Then you bring your pocketing. So the pocketing we have cut out is 14 by 14 inches length by 14 inches width. If it's some fold, it's 7 by 14, right? And after you have cut out that, then you fold it like at the middle. Then before that, you slash out 7.5 inch or 7 inches deep by 1.5. One edge will be slashed out all through this way, and then you use your you take your pocket facing and fix on the straight part of this outfit. Now the reason I did not show you some of these things while cutting is to make the tutorial easy and snappy. Then I will stitch all around this. This was placed at the straight part of the lining. I will sew this and then come back to show you the results. All right, so here I have fixed the pocket facings, right? Now the pocket facings must be fixed on the straight sides of the pocketing. The slash area is meant to be attached to the main trouser panel. I have done the both of them. Now one thing I wanted to teach us here is that no pocket facing should replicate or come on both sides twice. This one is for the right, while this one is for the left. So how will you know? When you fold it over this way, it comes in opposite directions. So don't replicate it on one side. You have fixed two pockets twice. So after you have done this now the next you will do is you pick a trouser panel. Now one panel you are picking will be the panel when the folded area, the gummed area, you must fix it at the slashed area, while the rest of the pockets will be outside, right? So after you have done this, then you make sure that you place this 1/2 inch inwards. I have taught this on how to sew a short, so I think I will drop the link of that short in this video so that you can as well watch that proper video on how to make a short. Then when we get to the stage of doing the back elastic and front rope, I think it's when we need more of the tutorial. So every average tailor should learn or know or watch the videos on how to fix your pockets, your zip, and then your when you get to that back stage, I will not show you guys more, but just watch how to fix this pocket in case it's your first time of watching. But I will drop a proper link on how you can make a short where I taught us how to fix your pockets and how to do your zip. So this video is solely for showing you guys how to do our back elastic and front rope. So in order not to make the video to be bulky, for some people who might be here for that knowledge alone, so that you don't get bored watching a whole lengthy the whole length of the videos. So here, after you have stitched the pocket that way, then you stitch it 1/4 inch down. From there, 1/4 inch down, and make sure that your hand must be as straight as possible here. Your hands must be as straight as possible. In some cases, you can even tend to draw a chalk to use to guide yourself. So stitch out in this form, and after you have done this now, then you cut off your threads, and then you are going to place this just right in this pattern. Now this placement must replace the 2.5 inch which we used in the pocket notching. Please, it should not be more than 2.5. And at this point, in case you made a mistake in the waist of your client, you can add more additions to the customer's waist from here. If you're making adjustments, you can make here to be 3 or 3.5, but since there's no mistake on the waist, you must make sure you have 2.5 inches from here, just this way. From the pocket thread you have made to the edge of the pocketing should be 2.5. So once you have gotten to this stage, then you lock the up pocket region just like this. You make sure you hold this firmly and thread the up part. You thread the up part this way, thread, you make sure it aligns, then stitch the up part this way, and then after which you make a 1/2 inch stitch on the side, just stitching down the main trouser panel down with the pocketing, stitching down this way, and then cut off your threads, then raise the main trouser up like this and notch the pocketing 1/2 inch down, 1/2 inch in. Notch it in this way. After you have notched it in, put your hand inside, bring it out and lock in a circular form, or you can still lock in a square form depending, but I prefer having a circular pocketing inside. You are stitching from the notch point, so hold the pocketing properly just like this and stitch from the notch point, then give it a curvy stitch. Like I said, if you want to make it a block, there's no problem. So stitch all through that way, and after that cut off your threads, then trim out some excesses just like this. Trim it out just like this, after which you tuck it in this way, cut your threads, so you tuck it in this way and then top stitch. So while you are top stitching, you also make sure that you bring out this edge properly, and then try to top stitch either from the base this way. Now this top stitching will help you to reinforce the pocket, right? It will help you to reinforce the pocket. So top stitch right round, then when you get to that notch point, you now sew in an angular form. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So this right here is how to fix your pocket. So I will do this. So I will do the same thing on the other pocket, and then I will come back and show you guys the results, and we now proceed with the other parts of the sewing. Right, so now I want to have fixed the pockets. Let's now fix the lining. So the lining, you have already drafted it out. Then you must hold the crotch area first. This crotch area must be held together first, and then you start from the hem side, this area. So start from here and stitch the lining on the weave part. Please make sure you stitch on the weaving. Don't stitch on the fabric, like on the outer fabric. Stitch on the weaving. The reason is that you don't need to stitch on the fabric, like on top of the fabric without the weaving, so that you don't have an excess or a little encroachment of the sewing on the material. So once you have stitched your lining this way, You stitch all through both the crotch points. You stitch all through both the crotch points, just this way. You stitch all the crotch area just like this, make sure that you stitch the crotch area like this. So when you get to this point, you do the pleating. Now this pleating, we face the crotch region, right? So you stitch on top. So this is how you fix your lining, as easy as ABCD. You don't need to do much. So just stitch on top, and then after this, then I'll also show you how to fix your zip or zipper. Then before we now proceed with the regular back elastic. But then in case you don't see the video of the zip fixing, make do to follow the link in the comment section or in the description box of this video, where I will drop a link on how you can fix your zip on your English trouser. It's still the same process, right? So this video will focus more on the back elastic and the front rope, so that it doesn't get too bulky. Here, once you have fixed your flap on the left panel of your trouser, right, you top stitch it on the flap region, take your zip and face it down. Now the zip will lap at the edge of the panel you have sewn. Then the iron stop of the zip will be half an inch below the waistline of your trouser. Then stitch on the right part. So you stitch on the right parts of this area. So this is one of the ways you can fix your zip. You stitch all through this way. After you have sewn on this region, you cut your threads. Then you also cut your threads, and then you also cut your thread. Then the next thing you will do right here is to turn your zipper downwards this way, and then once you have turned it all through this way, then bring the other flap, then run it across the machine body like this, and then fix the part that is folded underneath this zip just this way, and then stitch at the other edge. Stitch at the other edge. Cut your threads. Cut your threads. Then bring the other panel of trouser, which you have also fixed your lining. Bear in mind that this trouser panel was notched at 7 inches for the zip opening. Then hold your waistline. The two waistlines should correspond. Then stitch from the notched part, that notched area of your trouser. Stitch from that notched part just like this, and then sew all through this way. So make sure that everything you're sewing is corresponding. Cut off your threads as shown. Cut your threads and cut your thread. After which, this is what it looks like, right? Then hold the two crotch points, hold the two crotch area like this, and then start from the notch points as well. Pin your machine. Now at this point, you can decide to double thread, or this area is meant to be double threaded, or optional, you can tighten your stitch width on your machine, and then use it, your stitch length rather, your stitch length, and then use one tight stitch to stitch all through this area. Then carefully sew these points. So you can double thread it or you can sew it once but with a tie stitch. Then this is what we have. Then this is what it looks like at this point. Then at this point now, you are now going to arrange the flap properly and then sew 1.5 inch with a curvy line this way. So you can use your chalk and drop some marks of it, but make sure that you don't drop marks that will stain the fabric in case you're working with a lighter or a bright fabric. Then here I am marking 1.5. That is the recommended measurement you can use. You can use 1/3 if you have a bigger client. So make sure you indicate as well the end points where this will come so that you don't exceed that point, right? Just drop some chalks there. After this, then you stitch. Then make sure as well that your zip is open while sewing this. Your zip will be open while sewing this. Then you make sure that there's no obstruction or whatsoever. Then carefully and gently sew all through this point. Then while approaching the curvy region, you can now zip your trouser and then arrange the underneath flap just like this, and then you complete the stitching right there. You complete the stitching right there. Make sure that the curve continues in a perfect direction. So this is for this. So we are done with the zip fixing. So you know that this trouser will not have loops. It will just have back elastic and front rope. So this is how it is. Then the next I will do here is to start creating or preparing the band to fix. So this area you can use your iron to iron the flap, which I will also show you. Here we have the band. So the band was cut at one band and then gummed once, so that the essence of the gumming is folding it once is for easier folding. Then hold the two edges together and give a slit at the midpoint, just like this. And then you also bring your trouser panel and now determine where you want your rope to come out from. So my rope should come out from, like, let's say 2 inches or 2.5 inches away from the center panel. So something of this nature. So you can indicate where you want your ropes to come out from, right? So once you have decided that point, then you now start preparing your band to that effect. So my band, I'll create a hole somewhere here that will make me to have a rope that will come out from here. So there are two ways to create this hole or this opening, either by buttonhole or by this method I want to show you, or by eyelet. Eyelet is mostly for female, but then of recent times some men outfit as well uses eyelet to create that hole. So how do I do it? Just fold this band backwards, bearing in mind that point. Fold it backwards this way. Don't fold it backwards, and then you stitch it down by like 3/4 inch. Sew it down by like 3/4 inch, like this. Your hands must be straight. Sorry, when you get to that midpoint where you want your rope to come out from, you mark at the center band where the rope will come out from the center band, like 1/2 inch or thereabout. So once you get to that point, you are meant to jump that point in order to create that hole, or you can still double thread and then lose that part later. So here I will double thread this point and then I will jump it this way and then stitch here again, so I will loosen the center part later on. Then once you have done this, you cut off your threads in this form, and then you slit the midpoint, you slit the middle. Then carefully loosen this midpoint where you have marked out for your rope to come out from. So loosen this midpoint just like this. So after which, this is the hole, the opening will come out from here, right? Just like this, right? It's come from here. Then you now lock it. You lock the allowances here. This stitching down will help you for easier rope fixing. So just sew it down. Just sew it down from here, this way. Sew it down from here. Just sew it all down from here. So this is what it will look like. Then cut your thread. This is the opening, right? So I'll go ahead and create the same opening on the other band, and then I'll come back to show you the continuation. So here we have finished creating the holes on both bands, right? These are the holes we have created on both bands where the rope will come out from. So this is one of the easiest ways you can do this as well. So now once you have gotten to this stage, now the next thing you will do is to start fixing your band on your front panel. Now you have to unzip your trouser this way, and then you make sure that where you have designated or where you have marked for your rope to come out from is where that band, that joining is placed, that same point. If you decide to shift it backwards, it's your choice. So but just decide on where it's meant to come out from. It should be like 2.5 inches away from the center line, and then from the center of the trouser, and then start from that point and start sewing your band, right? Start from that point and start sewing your band. So start from that point and start sewing your band. So you also make sure that you monitor the zip stopper under. So start from that point and start sewing your band with that 1/2 inch you have used in folding. So stitch it all down. Sew it all down till the very end. So now you have sewn this part. You cut your threads. So this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. Then cut off the excesses at the side. Your hands won't be straight here. Cut it out at the side. So it goes all through like this. Then this is how it will be. So just leave this other one. Continue with the other part. You can now cut off the excess flap here. You can just cut it out. And then the next you will do is to fix the other one as well. The second band from where you have mapped it out. Make sure you hold the loop, your opening at the same point you want it to come out from. Then stitch as well. Just the same way we did the other one. Alright, so now we have fixed the both panels of the band. Now it's now time for us to cut the sides of this band as well. Remember that the band was cut at excess, right? So it's better off this way, that it's not enough. Then once you are done with this, now you must make sure you cross check the band length. So the band length must correspond, like the height must correspond here. None should be longer than each other. It's very essential, right? So after you have done this now the next you will do now is to bring the back panel. Now since you are doing back elastic, there's no need to put darts or welt pockets. There's no need to put that or welt pocket. Such trouser does not come with that or welt pocket. Now, if you observe, we raised the back panel by 4 inches, right? 4 by 4 inches. So this 4 inches is what we have added now to the front panel. So this 4 inches will now correspond with this. You are going to join this to the side. So by so doing, that 4 inches will now serve as band for the back panel. So that was why we raised the back by 4 inches. And that was why we have not put any band at the back. So this band we have added now is now the 4 inches that was raised at the back panel to now serve as the corresponding height here. So you now hold it this way and then join the side all through to the very end. I will join this and show you the results. So I have joined the sides. Look at how the joining was achieved all through to the hem. So make sure that the both legs must tally. That one should not be longer. So you must drag the length of trouser to correspond. So after which you have joined the side of the band this way, you are now going to fold, bearing in mind from the front panel, taking bearing from the front panel, you are now going to fold this back west to have the same band length or width rather. And then I will show you as well how to do this before we proceed. So here, after you have joined, then you must iron. Now in ironing, you will do what they call open pressing. Open pressing is just for opening the side seam with iron, right? So you must make sure you open press. So you take your ironing board and then open press all of this. So this helps to make your work to relax as well. Then you open press. So I will do this all through, and then I will now show you the results. So after you have ironed the open pressing, then the next you will do now is to fold the back band in line with the front band, right? That same band you folded. So you take bearing from the front panel and fold the back band just from that same joining. So you fold all through this way. You fold all through this way. Make sure it's as straight as possible. And then you also fold the first half an inch, which we did on the front panel. So this is how you also do yours. So this is how the band will now form for the back parts of trouser. So this is it. So you do the same thing as well on the other side, and then let's do it and then look at it. This is how it came out. I will do the same thing on the other side as well. So it's just a matter of being careful and patient. Don't be in a haste. So just be careful and patient. Don't be in a haste. So this is just how this will go. Don't be in a haste. So when you have done this, so you also fold this as well. Fold this as well. So this is how it is. So you make sure you got everything nicely done. So after you have done this now the next you will do is to go to your machine and start fixing your rope and the elastic. So let's go and do that together. So here we want to do the rope and the elastic fixing. So you must have gotten this joggers rope, which is being sold for I think 200 naira, 150, depends on your location. Or if you don't have it, you can still use the fabric and prepare a rope. So just slit it too in this form, and after which then keep it aside. Then bring your 1 inch elastic. Please make sure you use 1 inch elastic. This is so called 1 inch elastic, 1 inch. Then how do you know the exact elastic to use? You are going to measure the half of the back panel. You are going to measure the half of the back panel. So you place this way, measure the half from here, the half of the back panel. So once you measure the half of the back panel, now you now check how soft the rubber is. So if it's not that elastic, you can add like extra 3 to 4 inches, right, to make sure that it does not really compress the back part so much. So you can add extra 3 to 4 inches. So invariably you can use 1/2 of the back panel, to add your elastic. You get like 1/2 of it to add your elastic. So once I've gotten to this stage, now the next you will do now is to lock the back waistline. Next you do is to lock the back waistline. Then once you get to this stage, just use 1/2 inch and lock the back waistline, or 3/4 of an inch. You lock the back waistline just from here, stitch it down this way, and then sew, making sure that the crotch as well is properly or evenly held. You sew all through this way. You stitch all through this way. Then after this, you also cut your threads. So now you have done this. Now it's now the time for the major video. Now for the major knowledge which most of us are waiting for, here you will insert your rope from the front where you have already created a hole. Just insert your rope from the front this way. Insert your rope from the front this way. Insert the other one as well from the other edge as well. So it goes all through like this. And after you have done the insertion of the rope, now you now bring your elastic. So this elastic will be sewn from the side joining alongside the rope. So place the elastic first underneath and then place your rope on top at the side joining. So it will be placed this way, and then carefully stitch it at the side joining. So you thread from here, you thread from here, sew it like 3, 4, 5 times. Make sure it's strongly held. So you stitch all through this way. So once you have sewn it, this is what it will look like at the back. It will have this double thread effect at the back, just something of this nature, right? I don't know if you can see it. Then do the same thing on the other side at the side joining. Please don't put it at the center back, at the side joining. Don't do the mistake to put it here. So drag it to the side this way, and then before you sew it, you confirm if the elastic is fair enough at the back. Like drag it. If you feel it's still long, you can reduce it like 1 inch. You can cut off like 1 inch, right? So once you have gotten what you're looking for, place at the side, and then you now join it as well. And this sewing must be on the part that is close to the waist region. That's not the one that will fold, the one down here. So place this way, and then bring your rope edge and place it on top, and then sew. So this is a whole lot if you get it now. So make sure you climb the rope properly. So once you have achieved this, you cut your threads. You cut your threads. Now the next thing you will do is to start locking your waistline. So how do you lock it? You now close the front panel this way, make a notch, and then lock the front panel, as you should. So make sure that the front panel locking is properly done, just like the regular way you lock your native or Ankara trouser. So now I have sewn it, then cut off the excesses and then turn it inwards this way. So this is how you lock the front waistline. So do the same thing on the other side as well. I will do it and show the results. So now I have done the both locking, I cut off the excesses and then turn it inwards this way. So this is what you have. Bring out the edge to come out nicely, just this way, and this is what it looks like. So it's now time for you to start locking the band properly. So you drag the rope to go in properly, and then fold it this way, and then hold, and then start the locking or the closing. So you make sure you top stitch, or you can see close from the jointed points. So while top stitching, you are bound to be arranging the underneath fabric just like this. So carefully arrange the underneath fabric just like this so that it can grip properly. Arrange the underneath fabric just like this, then make sure every panel is being held evenly, and then you sew. So while doing this, you must make sure that the elastic at this first stitching, the elastic will not be sewn on top. You will just focus more on closing the band first before sewing the elastic. You will avoid the elastic at this first stitching. Only focus on closing the band. This is the main thing first you will do. So the elastic will not be sewn now. Do you get hair? So make sure that you focus more on locking the main band. The elastic will be tucked in properly, and fold the allowances or the excesses underneath, making sure that the center line is also matched with the center line, and then you gently stitch. And make sure that it's holding whatever you have under. So the elastic will be tucked in properly while you sew this from here. As I sew, you'll be confirming the band at the back. So it's a gradual process, something that you can do. And also make sure that the rope is not also sewn on top. The rope should be relaxed on its own. While you lock the band, so now you have finished locking the band from here. The next thing you will do is to double thread the back elastic region where you have your elastic installed, this region, right? You're going to double thread it. So how do you double thread? You are going to drag this band, then top stitch at the middle first, at the midpoint. You're going to drag it where it will lap properly, just like this. You hold the middle and then top stitch at the midpoint first. Top stitch at the midpoint, and please, your hand must be as straight as possible. Drag it properly and top stitch at the middle. Your hands must be as straight as possible. Your hands must be as straight as possible. Just the middle region only. Don't top stitch the front. Just the middle region only. So this is the effect which we have created at the back region, as you can see. So if you observe, if the rubber is not working or being elastic at some region, you can loosen it and then correct it. Like from here now, I'll adjust here. I will loosen this rubber here. I think the rubber was held here. I will lose this line and adjust the rubber before I finish. Okay, so I have corrected that spot that the elastic was held at the first closure, and it has corrected, right? So I just loosened it and then shifted the rubber and then covered it back again. So this is all I think most of you will be craving for to see, and I believe this video must have gone a long way to show you guys how to do this. So then the rest you will do now will be, look at how beautiful this is. So the rest you will do now will be to lock your lap, your knee, your ankle. So that will follow the regular sewing process. So look at the beautiful pants or trouser we have been able to achieve, right? So this is it, and I will now do the ironing, balance the band, and then look at the back panel. So this is how it is. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Bye bye for now.